Do you believe the 2025 Texas Rangers could out-slug the 2023 squad?
Okay, tell me, are we going strictly on slugging percentage?
We are not,
okay.
But I will give you all of those numbers to compare.
I'll have to write these down.
Yeah, last year's are going to kind of bum you out a little bit. All right, 2023 home runs. That was the year they won the World Series, Alec. This is just for the regular season, though. 2023, 233 home runs.
And that was a group that I feel like Simeon had a high number, Seager had a high number, Adolis had a high number, and then everybody else was like, hey, we can do this too. Yeah.
Last year, 176 home runs. I do believe that is a drop of 57 home runs.
Okay. And again, Seager had pretty much the same numbers. Everybody else fell off.
Yeah, that is true. Now, slugging percentage. 2023, 452. Last year, 380. So that's a pretty steep drop off. And this one's going to sting a lot. 2023 OPS, 790.
All right, there, Kevin, we always have new listeners. What is OPS?
So it's on base plus slugging. For a lot of people, OPS is essentially replaced batting average as the primary statistic.
Because it factors in power?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like Luis Ariz will get jobbed on that. Back in the day, Tony Gwynn and Ichiro, modern baseball might be like, you're not a useful player.
Luis Ariz hit a bomb yesterday.
And so it can be misleading at times, but OPS, if you get to 800 as a player, you're like, hey, you're doing a heck of a job. Good for you. If you can get above 900, you very well could be in the MVP conversation. So think about this. The team average in 2023 was 790. Last year, it's going to be tough. 686. You drop more than 100 points. So you look at it. You drop 57 home runs, 72 points in slugging, which obviously eats up a big part of that on base plus slugging, and you were down 104 points from that. So, which also means not that it's strictly about power. That also means your on base percentage dropped a whole lot as well. So drop. So my question for y'all is whether it's a resurgent Marcus Semien, whether it's a Wyatt Langford that's going to extrapolate September out into the entire season, or whether it is Berger and Pederson bringing a huge power dynamic to this lineup. Do you see the potential for the Rangers to be back at or perhaps even exceed 2023?
So I'm looking back at that 23 team, and Nathaniel Lowe had 17 home runs that year and a 414 slug. I think that's Jankowski had a 357, something like that. Other than that, Nate Lowe was the lowest slugging percentage guy on the team. Now, again, let's go back. Nate Lowe became a better defensive player because he worked very hard at it whenever he got to Texas. He had some important hits, maybe one of the most important at-bats that we've seen in the ALCS2 against the Houston Astros, where it was like 56 pitches he saw. But he couldn't hit a fastball. And last year he struggled with that too. So that now he's gone, you've replaced it with Berger, who you presume is going to go 17, is probably going to hit 20 or 13 more home runs.
That's going to be a disappointment if Jake Berger hits 17 home runs.
If he hits, I'm presuming he's going to hit 13 more.
Yes.
Also in that lineup, you had Mitch Garver.
Yeah.
Mitch Garver was fantastic for you. He had a 500 slug. That's quality. But he put together 19 home runs in a smaller amount of plate appearances. I think he only had like 350, something like that, plate appearances. So what you replace that with in your DH is Jock Pederson, who had a really good year last year. You didn't have Mitch Garver last year. You were rotating Wyatt Langford was your DH part of the season. You're trying to figure all that out. And the Rangers said, no, we need a bat there. Like, we need a real legitimate bat there. So, Kevin, yes, if Josh Young is back and healthy, if Corey Seager just rolls out there and does what Corey Seager does, and Semien has his up year, Because we've been talking about that for about over a year now. I've seen people start to catch on to this.
Started out his career.
Yeah, if he has one of those up years, I see this team being back in that range of hitting 200 and something home runs, which that was amazing, and being in that 790 OPS area. Because again, look at the names they had in 23, and then who they were missing or who fell off in 24 or who didn't have another career year, and then look at what they're looking forward to this year. I think so.
And there could be room for compromise in this still being a damn good team. Because when I run through all of that, keep in mind in 2023, the Rangers led the American League in batting average, walks, home runs, that was a tie, RBIs, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. So essentially like every offensive category you can think of. So, Alec, when I say 233 for home runs and an OPS of 790, I'm like, hey, if we end up at 220 home runs and 775 OPS, that still feels like you're rolling.
Looking back at that World Series lineup, I don't think I ever appreciated in the moment, and even after they won, how really special that lineup was, because some of those numbers are jarring just compared to what we're used to seeing with the typical Rangers lineup over the past decade or so. You don't get those kind of flashy numbers that are leading all of the majors or at the top of all of the majors. It's hard because I want to put my expectations there. I absolutely do, and I think they can. I think on paper this is absolutely a better lineup and a more powerful lineup. And what I love about Chris Young, not only does he make all of the moves, he makes the moves that make the most sense, right? Whenever you say, what do we suck at as a lineup? Hitting the fastball. So we get rid of a player or two that isn't so good at hitting the fastball and hasn't shown any real progress in that, and we add two guys who are known fastball hitters. And not only that, they're sluggers. They're going to hit the ball out of the park in Jake Berger and Jock Pederson. You saw it last night. You're going to see it plenty throughout the season if they can stay healthy and stay in rhythm. So I think any expectation is fair at this point. It seems like a cop-out answer, but any expectation that you're willing to put on this lineup, as high or as low as it is, I think is fine, because you haven't seen the chemistry yet. I understand that if you don't want to believe, but I think you have a proven history of some real sluggers on this team, and I think that they can match those numbers from 23.
Now, I want to go to Jake Berger specifically, since you were talking about him. What do you think? Because I know you kind of insinuated 30 home runs. What do you think is a good prediction total for his home runs and RBIs this year?
So I am in that 30, and I mean 25 is really a really good number.
Yes.
So I'll be in the 27 RBIs, depending on where he hits. Said 70, 85.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put him at 27 and 85.
So
and that really does depend on, again, where he's in the lineup, because this team capable of clearing bases at any point.
And I'm glad that you said that, because the most RBIs that Jake Berger has ever had in a season is 80.
Okay.
So in 2023, he had 80, yet the over-under is 84.5.
All right.
And that, like, obviously some of that goes to the credit of people thinking that there's going to be a heck of a lineup happening right there. And then his over-under for home runs, 25.5. And so those are some hefty power numbers, and at least with the RBIs, it feels like they're definitely thinking, hey, the rest of this lineup is really going to help him out with some of these RBI potentials. So I wanted to throw that out there, and since we were talking about it.
Yeah, that should be good. Kevin, I was just looking back, though, at that 23 season, and I think every single person, I just saw it on the Twitch, I saw it on the YouTube as well, every single person is in the, I just hope Adolis gets back on track.
Yeah.
Because if he's back on track, this team is dangerous. Because we know what Corey is. Simeon is going to provide you opportunities. But if Adolis is there, that is a power bat that everybody envies having in their roster. Everybody's like, dadgummit, those guys got that guy super cheap, and he's really good at what he does. But he wasn't the same guy last year. He's an RBI machine when they're there. Hit 39 home runs and 107 RBI that year. And Kevin,
that's incredible.
His slugging was 508. Corey Seager was on an MVP.
Yeah.
Like, he should have been MVP, okay? Ohtani got lucky and got it that year because he does two things. Hey, look, dude, a bunch of kids out there playing high school baseball pitch and also hit too. But Adolis Garcia was at 508. Corey Seager was at 623 that year.
Incredible.
That's how good Corey was compared to Adolis, and Adolis was having a fire season. He had an 836 OPS. Just him getting back on track, Kevin, vaults this team into that category again. And now with the additions, and I think Jock's going to do very well with this club. It seems like him and Bochy have the right connection, and he's going to be happy playing here.
I love the follow-up on this quote from Bruce Bochy. He said, you know what? I think this team could potentially outslug the team in 2023. And then he says, I think that's a true statement. And I don't know why, but
Bruce,
that feels like it brings even more credibility to it. He's like, I think we could do that. And then doubles down. I think that's a true statement.
That's as true as a beautiful sunset in a sweet Texas sky.
See? That feels like something that's going to happen. Or I'm going to buy a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I don't know. One of those things feels like it's going to happen based off of what he just said.
Kevin just got, for the first time in his life, the taste for bourbon. He was like, I don't know why, but I feel like I need a bourbon right now.
I need a glass right now.
If somebody brought me a cigar right now, I might smoke it. I don't know.
Kevin's like, I need to fill my garage with some Snap-on tools.
Yes. Like, man, I kind of want you to consider doing your Best Buy Windows ad in that voice, because I think you already get a lot of response. I think it's going to make it go up exponentially, because they'll be like, I don't know who this guy is, but I trust him. Yeah. He sounds like he knows about my Windows.
You're dead on. If Bochy decided his career's done, all he wants to do is voiceover work for, Platinum Chevy and stuff like that, you'd be like, good gosh, all I'm doing is, he would be on TV doing every commercial. He would be the next Matthew McConaughey.
He would.
Everybody would be like, screw Matthew McConaughey, get Bochy.
Agreed.
Even if he's more expensive. By the way, I wanted to give a shout out real quick.
Okay.
I know it's Tuesday.
And then we need to do a shout out for the burgers. We're going to go back to that. But
shout out to Jesse in Canton. He's a Tolo that just cut my dad's hair and was losing his mind when he found out that my dad was my dad. So shout out to Jesse and all the people cutting hair out there today.
Now,
except for Alec, he's like, what are you talking about? You forget? Never mind. Back to you, Kevin.
From the 469, can you guys wish my daughter a happy birthday? She's 8, and she asked yesterday, but I was planning her birthday party, and I forgot to text in.
Hold on, she's 8 today?
She was 8 yesterday.
8 yesterday?
He forgot.
He was planning her birthday party?
Yeah, so he forgot. That would be mean if you made the 8-year-old, hey, get these invitations done. Dude, they're not going to send out themselves.
Lucy she's already planning her party. She's been planning it since February.
Man, we got a minute.
June.
Yeah.
But that's how her mind works. She's immediately like, all right, what's the next event? And the next one for her is her birthday.
And I didn't get an opportunity to mention this the other day, but I just wanted to shout out Jake Berger and his family once again. Like, we go back a few days to World Down Syndrome Day, and it marked a milestone in their search for a purpose. And so on Friday, the Berger Family Foundation was launched, and it aims to erase the stigma around Down syndrome.
I love it.
We've talked, obviously, quite a good deal about their family and everything like that, but I want him to be great as a baseball player, but it is really cool to see how much they're trying to do to help out the community.
Looks like he's already great as a dad. So
it really does.
I'll take that first, and then we'll see all the rest of the things from there. Part of the community. I like that.
Yes.
Let's go, man.
I'm with you on all of that.